business taxes, with stressing about all the time and all the money you spent on your taxes.
This is my bill?
Now Business Taxes is a TurboTax small business expert who does your taxes for you and offers year-round advice at no additional cost, so you can keep more money in your business. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on turbotax.com/business. Only available with TurboTax Live full service.
We're making an ad.
Snapping ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week.
Yep.
Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast, brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad. We're making an ad.
Snapping ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week.
Yep.
Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast, brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
We're back, and this week we're talking about 1985's Ghoulies. This is a crazy factoid. This is only the second Ghoulies movie we've discussed, and I'm pretty sure it's been over 400 episodes since the last time we talked about Ghoulies, because I'm almost confident that Ghoulies 2 was a pre-episode 100
That
released.
Sounds about right to me. Like, that totally makes sense.
I see our letterbox master is doing a quick check.
You can see his eyes like darting left and right.
But
Ghoulies 2 was super early on.
Like,
it
like
was
episode
between
40.
Dark Ride and Maniac Cop. If that gives anybody...
so that's in like the 50s. That's like in the so it's been
Shit.
almost 450 episodes since we last talked about Ghoulies. I don't think we need to wait 450 more episodes, because I really think that we could have fun with Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. We don't ever need to talk about Ghoulies 4, which is barely a Ghoulies movie.
Is Ghoulies 3 Ghoulies Go to College? Is Matthew Lillard in that one?
Very small cameo
That's
from
right,
Matthew
yeah.
Lillard before he was famous in that one. And that's where the Ghoulies talk.
Dude, this was less of a Ghoulies movie than I thought this movie was
That's
going to
the
be.
reason why we haven't discussed it, because I had thought that it
was
wasn't going to be.
shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that Ghoulies 3 certainly has more Ghoulies to it.
Than Ghoulies
like
1.
Ghoulies 2 did, more than Ghoulies 1.
Yeah.
But, Scott, I know you're going to walk us through the plots, but I have to give a quick comment. They did a great job just making sure to show us those Ghoulies in the very first shot. The movie starts off with close-ups of faces and teeth, and you're like so excited. Unfortunately, that's going to tie you over for about 25 minutes after that. But
there's a lot
great
going
call.
on in this movie, so I'm okay. Really, the pacing didn't bother me. This is my first full watch of this movie.
Mine too.
The pacing has one big benefit working for it, which is that there's only 82 minutes of movie that you have to get through in the first place.
Yeah.
Dude, when Tubi went to credits after I went through 5 commercial breaks, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like, we're done here? Like, I thought.
Although
we had
Tubi,
more.
it's been a hot minute since I've watched on Tubi, and Tubi did my least favorite thing that Tubi's known to do, which is like commercial break just before the final 90 seconds of the movie before credits roll.
You could have just
probably
looked on
why- that might have been why I
Wikipedia and
felt
saved
that way.
yourself the
That
3
might have-
minutes.
I
there,
had
man.
the Blu-ray. I just happened to be
Wow, that
also
is
watching
lazy as
Barb's.
fuck.
Well, no, I was watching Barb's Child, so I had to
Oh,
work
okay.
with the means, which was the living room,
Okay.
which
Okay.
doesn't have a DVD player
I think
attached to
this,
it.
honestly, though, Matt, I've had this on the schedule for multiple months. I think this is a you problem, not a child problem.
I try to watch the movies as close to us talking
know.
about it, so all my thoughts are fresh.
Listen, all
Like
of
a
your thoughts
Rotten
are fresh,
Tomatoes
baby.
score over 60. I like these things fresh.
Well, because this one's gonna go quick because the movie's so quick.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna fire up. Oh wait, you had the color of your can looked very similar to mine, and I'm interested.
Well, you go first. You cracked
Single
first.
cut put out a softly spoken
you
magic
fucking
spells. We
serious?
did it! We did it! Scott! We did it!
Bro! Yes! Cheers, my guy.
Dude! Oh,
That's
I finally have-
incredible.
Wow, I've
Whoa!
never been so sure what our TikTok clip is going to be for an episode as this moment.
Scott and I both have Single Cut's softly spoken magic spells. It's an Imperial IPA from Single Cut, which I believe is out of New York. Oh my God, incredible! Cheers, my friend. This is lovely.
Oh man.
We dreamed of this day, guys.
When we knew it was going to happen.
I didn't
I
think it
was
was going
not
to come
sure it
on
was going to be this.
Ghoulies.
no one,
like-
no one would have guessed Ghoulies.
No.
No
Let's
one
be
gets
honest.
Ghoulies. No. Oh, that makes me so happy, and it's tasty.
Oh, it's great.
All
It's
right.
delightful.
Lovely.
Oh boy. I mean, thanks for listening to Horror Movie Night. That's a wrap. There's no way to go up
That's
from that.
it. We all came. We all conquered, and we all came again. It was awesome.
I'm going to throw this out there. That moment more exciting than any moment in the movie Ghoulies. Like,
All right, so let's get down to business. So Ghoulies, 1985, very Italian, if you ask me. This movie, like, watching this, knowing now what like Italian horror was shot, how Italian horror looks when it was shot in the 80s. It just, I mean, it's very fun. This movie's great. I just want to preamble it with saying that I had a blast watching this. Now,
it's fun. It's not as fun as Ghoulies 2, but it's a fun
I think
watch.
it's different. It's fun in a different way. Like
Yeah.
Ghoulies 2 is very much like in on the joke, and this one plays it a lot straighter.
Wait,
They
I
have
also
to.
think Ghoulies captures a thing that like Full Moon and Empire Pictures, especially in the 80s and 90s, Charles Band was making a crap ton of movies, and he was trying to make them look, like legitimate movies. This was like pre him shooting an
this
entire
definitely
movie in like 3
Empire.
days in his house.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, but this is probably the earliest example of like a Charles Band movie that you're watching it and you think like, my friends and I could make this, like, and not in like a shitty way, but in a like, this is like a small budget. They're all in one location for almost the entire movie. Like, no one
Honestly,
seems like
I don't think that my friends and I could make this movie because the Ghoulies have great like animatronics. Their
They do.
eyes move. Their hilarious little eye movements are just.
Oh,
I mean,
the
if
eye
there were no
movement.
Ghoulies in this, yes.
Well, that's what I mean. But even like the puppeteer, like at certain point, let us remember that the whole concept of this movie, I think I talked about this. There's a Charles Band put out his autobiography fairly recently, and he tells this story about making Ghoulies and trying to figure out how to market it. And the editor of the movie was hanging out with the editor of the movie, and he said, "What if we had a ghoulie coming out of a toilet,
Yeah.
and it just said, Ghoulies, they'll eat your ass." And he said, "I don't think we could do that, but maybe we could put like they'll get you in the end."
Which is one of the best taglines. One of the best horror taglines ever. And there's no ghoulie that comes out of a toilet in this movie. You have to wait until the sequel.
Well, and then basically what happened was Charles Band called that to his attention and said, "But we don't have a ghoulie coming out of a toilet in the movie to use for that tagline to make sense." And that's when he said, "Well, I've got a toilet." And they just shut this prop in the toilet.
But they also put him
quick.
in a little boy costume, too. Like, the ghoulies don't wear clothes.
But then they also took the toilet seat lid and shot like one of the puppet heads opening the toilet to just put in the trailer. Because if you watch the trailer, the ghoulies head opens the toilet right before they say like, "Ghoulies, they'll get you in the end."
That must have been that's deeply embedded in my psyche, because I was horrified of the ghoulies when I was a child, because I knew that a ghoulie was going to come and give me analingus to death. I obviously have survived.
Which, like, honestly, worse ways to die, but
pretty fucking bad. But like, truly, when I was a child, I had a couple serious boogeymen. Like, one of them, obviously, Freddy Krueger. Another one was, so in my parents' house, there's a wood-burning stove that kind of looks like one of those heads on Easter Island, you know?
Yeah.
And I used to call it the Fireplace Man, and I was afraid that the Fireplace Man was gonna come to life like the fucking Mangler and come up the stairs and burn me to death inside of it.
Does it actually look like a face, or did it just you found a face in it?
I'll send you a picture. I think because they still have it. It's been there for 50 fucking years. Like, I see the face in it still.
You see the face.
So, and the third thing were the ghoulies coming to get me, eat my butthole. All right.
And I just want to show you guys, this is I'm holding up to the camera for the Patreon, the Ghoulies trailer. There's the Ghoulies. There's all the shots of these early puppets in the movie. We're going to be talking about all these scenes when we dive into this plot. But you'll see right there.
That one. Okay.
Yeah.
It looks so shitty because it's like the puppet is just like, wah, like it falls forward.
Yeah, they just shot it so fucking quick just to throw it in at the tail end of the trailer.
Oh man. Well, anyway, we're 10 minutes into the episode. Let's get down to the plot. So, opening scene: cult leader Malcolm Graves is about to sacrifice his baby in front of his cult, but he is thwarted by his wife / the child's mother, named Anastasia, who places a magical pendant on the baby to save it from being sacrificed. A cult member named Wolfgang is told to take the baby away, and Malcolm sacrifices Anastasia instead. Fast forward 25 years, and the now adult Jonathan and his girlfriend Rebecca have somehow inherited the family estate, which is ostensibly the house, the mansion where the events that occurred when he was a baby were there, and now is run by Wolfgang, who is the caretaker and, quote unquote, the only family I've ever had. That's what Jonathan says.
Which is weird because he's inheriting this house, and Wolfgang has apparently been at this house.
Yeah, and also Wolfgang looks at him like he's never seen him before. Very funny. But I love that Wolfgang got paid however much to have like 3 lines in the third act, and that's it. But yeah, so what a college. Let's just call them 20-year-olds. They say they're in college. It's also like the 30-year-olds playing the 20-year-olds kind of thing. It's great, but they immediately have to throw a party. So they have this rager, and it's attended by the strangest amalgamation of friends, including a guy named Toad Boy, who said that he needs some sweetmeats for his tum. Now, I don't quite know what that means, but it was pretty fucking funny when he said it.
Toad Boy. I love Toad Boy.
Yeah.
That's my last note is that you just said. Is I've not write any more notes about Ghoulies, but Toad Boy, man.
Toad Boy has, I'm going to jump ahead to just one Toad Boy moment that tickled me for no reason, but he's reaching into a fountain.
Oh, yeah.
And he pulls out, his hand is covered in like sludge.
Pond muck, yeah.
And he goes, weird. I'm like, it's weird to find sludge in an unkept 30-year-old fountain.
For
To
a
me, that
boy
is
named
the
Toad
most-
Boy?
Yeah, it's the most normal thing that you could expect to find.
That's the
in
most
that
normal
fountain.
for like you specifically,
Yeah.
man. Like that's
Yeah, and did they call
thought
him
that was part
Toad
of your
Boy
gig.
because one of the amphibian ghoulies eats his face? Like, there's no explanation for his nickname because
There's
he's
no-
literally
it
the only person with a
seems-
nickname.
And it seems like when we first meet Toad Boy that this is, listen, for you young in your 20s listeners here, maybe you're getting ready for college. It seems like Toad Boy's trying to give himself a nickname.
Oh, he's one of those.
And
don't do
yeah,
that.
And everyone's, because the guy's like, I don't like this Toad Boy.
Shut up,
shit."
Mark.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, it's
Yeah.
like it's a real tough call. Scott, what I love about this party scene and what I love about this movie
The
in general-
breakdancing?
well, beyond that, is that we are 12 minutes into this movie as this party starts, and I am confident that I have never seen a character get corrupted by evil as quickly as Jonathan has in this movie, because it is night one and he's already like reading these
Let's do a
books
seance ritual.
Yeah, and it's
Fuck yeah.
like so quickly is he corrupted by power and magic and evil. It's almost hilarious. And I do just want to call it, when we were talking about the beginning and he sacrifices the wife, fantastic like heart rip cage effect
what's
that we
supposed to
cut
come
away
out of-
just
yeah.
before.
Piss me off.
I like it. It's
Is there an
some
uncut,
good
like a
effects.
director's version that shows you what's supposed to? Is
Not
it
on the
literally-
Blu-ray that I have.
Damn it.
The
no, dude. And
Blu-ray-
if that no full, I don't. And we've already talked about my feelings on Full Moon, and that is echoed by their.
But this is
releases,
Empire.
because they.
No, this is Empire. This is a little bit. I will say
Thank you.
Empire had a little bit more of a classiness
Okay.
to it. I
Tiny
feel
bit.
like
because
I feel
because
like
there were
Full Moon-
stakeholders that stopped fucking Charles Band from being a monster.
well, I think it was also that there. I think with Empire there was a guarantee of theatrical release,
Uh-huh,
so there was like
yeah.
a little bit more like
Few
TLC
extra
put into that, because that's where you're getting like From Beyond and Reanimator and like these
Life
dolls.
Force?
Like these are all the maybe Night Force, maybe Arena was the last one.
Yeah, that's
Arena was the
right.
last Empire release.
Man, then what a way to go out.
Which
That's
we
a good
do
one.
need to do. We
Yes,
do need to do
please.
an Arena episode. But then I think when he moves over to Full Moon, there's this element of like, fuck the theater. The theaters aren't going to last another 5 years. It's video rental. And then he kind of got quicker and lazier
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
point. Like,
Yeah.
I think he ran out of financiers, honestly. But yeah, so I mean, I like the. It's actually kind of a smart way to write all the characterizations for the 9 main characters, right? Is to have them at a party, and
Yeah.
you know, it didn't really stick in my brain until just now that that's what that party, because it seems so zany and out there and silly, but really what it's doing is it's characterizing all of them without a whole lot of exposition, and that's smart because this is doing the 80s horror thing where gotta have the cannon fodder, and so but it's also smart enough to be like, well, we need to at least characterize these people, even if you don't remember their names later. I had to go back and recall who everybody was when I was making my notes, but I did really enjoy the fact that you get that kind of whimsical first act, and then Jonathan's getting corrupted. He's like, Rebecca is like, what do you want to do today? He's like, well, I'm gonna quit college and I'm just gonna focus on cleaning up this mansion. She's like, shouldn't you finish the semester first and then you can take some time off? He's like, no, this is more important. Don't you think having a place to live is more important? And she's like, well, I can't argue with that. So he is just cleaning the mansion. He gets more unhinged, and eventually he is able to summon 3 more Ghoulies to do his bidding, which that's well and good. You get to see. I mean, I love the look of these Ghoulies. They look
awesome.
so
especially
fun.
the green Ghoulie is such a. This is a hot take, I guess, but green Ghoulie over furry Ghoulie for me.
Now,
I like the
main
more
kinds,
lizard
or
Ghoulie.
four Ghoulies. Are there 4? Well, there's actually like a 5th one because the one that's in the
Listen.
clown mask is a truly reptilian one. So then, like, let's call the green ghoulie the amphibian one, and there's like in Ghoulies too. There's like the amphibian, the rat, and the cat, right? So I think that the one that kind of morphs into the cat one, is the one that has the most shots of its animatronic eyes, like kind of rolling around, and there's so much like KY that they put in its mouth, and it's dripping off of the teeth. That was my favorite, just strictly due to the amount of screen time he got.
The goo in the screen time.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
He got me gooed.
That's Scott's whole MO.
But yeah, it's super fun because he's like, Jonathan's like, okay, you're gonna do my bidding, and then he does another ritual, and I was scratching my head like, okay, there are these two dwarves that he summons, and they explain to him like, you need 7 people to perform this master ritual to give you all of your powers. And he has...
And he's like, just my luck.
Yeah, I have 7 friends. Well, I have 6 friends and a girlfriend. So off we go. So he like is scared of his power a little bit, right? And so he puts this pendant, the magical pendant that his mom put on him, that he somehow has again, puts it on Rebecca and says, never take this off. They start banging almost immediately after that, and one of the Ghoulies... I
mean, it is such a nice gesture.
Yeah, I mean,
that you just gotta
here's some jewelry. It's a transactional relationship for sure.
I was going to say, that's just Valentine's Day in a nutshell.
Oh, man, no wonder people love our podcast for comments like that. Anyway, so... she wears the pendant, right? And they be fucking. And then a Ghoulie draws a circle and like, some sort of power symbol underneath the bed. And he starts to speak in another language. She's like, get off me. And she sees it and she blames him. And she's like, you bastard, I'm out of here. And he's like, well, fuck it. One less person to be bothered by. So she comes back the next night and she's like, just leave with me. We'll leave right now. And he was like, no. And so she gets mad and she throws the pendant at him. He's like, perfect. Hypnotizes her and is then able to hypnotize his 6 friends to come over for dinner. And the second favorite thing of this movie happens where I think it was the rat Ghoulie, or what becomes the rat Ghoulie in Ghoulies 2, eats a cherry tomato during their dinner. And it's so funny because the puppet was so good that it had real teeth, not like real teeth, but it had like teeth that had enough strength. They weren't just, rubber, that it could squish the cherry tomato. And I don't know why, but that was just like, it made me so happy to watch.
What do you guys think that they served at that dinner?
Well, you see, like, when you see what they see, it's like roast beef, right? But
are you sure it wasn't Gabagoulies?
Oh, man. I walked right into it. God damn it.
I can't believe that episode 502 is where I stop.
Really? Because I was trying to be like, future shirt? Huh?
Future shirt Gabagoulies is...
Gabagoulies.
You got to it first. I'm not against it. I mean, with the popularity of the reduce, reuse, reanimate shirt, I think that we're on.
Well, if you could also have all the species of Ghoulies at a table, Last Supper-ish.
Yeah. But they all
Gabagoulies.
have to be wearing. They all have to have like the Mario mustache.
Yeah.
Right, so that we know that they're Italian.
That they're Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then instead of Last Supper, you go like pizza man, like pizza guy, like pizza box guy.
No, it's a sub. It's a sub shop, and the Ghoulies are each holding a part of the sub because it's a big sub.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
It says Gabagoulies across the sub.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
Do you know too much about your favorite musician's pet cat? Are you maybe one of those people that just has to watch every TikTok and Instagram reel from your favorite actor? I don't know. kind of sounds like you have a parasocial relationship. Well, if you're curious to learn more about how these kinds of relationships form and function and how we find meaning in them, you should check out the newest season of In Defense of Fandom. For Season 3 on the podcast, we'll be taking a deeper look at the relationship between creators and their fans. In the era of social media, fan conventions, and constant access to our fandom's favorite actors, parasocial relationships abound. In Season 3, we're taking a deeper look at this phenomenon, and even branching outside the world of TV. As the host, I'm especially excited to dip my toes in the world of music and fandom, so I hope you enjoyed this new season, launching April 1st. You can find In Defense of Fandom wherever you listen to podcasts, part of the Geekscape Podcast Network.
So he hypnotizes, they're having dinner, they're eating the Ghoulies.
Yeah, and then they all do the ritual and unknowingly resurrect Malcolm from the grave outside in the front yard.
This is also awesome. That fucking rotted skeleton bursting out of the ground.
So good.
Yeah.
Love
in
it.
the midst of everything else that's happening, just like another, like, oh,
This
don't worry
movie
about
has
this
so
piece
much,
over here.
You know,
There's
It
so
is-
much happening.
It is like constantly heightening
Yeah.
the circumstance of the movie.
82
you
minutes,
can't
you just
take
gotta-
that away from it.
yeah,
Like, it's-
exactly.
You know, because we've seen, and some of them might even be our double features. We've seen a lot of movies like this. You know, you were talking about the characters briefly, Scott, and it's like, you know, I don't feel bored of anybody that is appearing here. You know what I mean?
There have been way more frustrating college friends in movies that we've watched for this podcast. than
Right.
the gang
Like
in
college friends
Ghoulies.
at a party or at a house or like in a one night thing. Like I've never been tired of I was never tired of the people who showed up. You know, maybe they don't have a lot of depth, but like I'm not annoyed or tired of whoever shows up. Like
they're
I
all,
actually
like, kind
was
of
hoping
fun.
for more Toad Boy. You
Yeah,
know?
but there's also like the one stoner guy who's dressed like the band from Howling 2. You know what I mean? Like he's always got like the poof of hair and like the crazy sunglasses and stuff. Like it's a fun collection of like quickly identifiable friends. You're not like forgetting you're not forgetting which friend is who. Like they're all like falling into their tropes. Like the dude who's constantly looking to get laid, boy does he meet a sexy fine woman at this point. And,
and she's
the
into
making
it?
out the making out proceeds to happen until she gets his tongue, right? And
Oh,
straight
you're
up.
talking about Dick. I thought you were talking
Yeah.
about Mark and Donna because so Mark and Donna get eaten by the green ghoulies in the fountain. And and then
well, that's Toad Boy. Toad Boy
Mark
gets
is
taken down
Toad
by
Boy.
the fountain.
Yeah, well, they both get eaten by the green ghoulies. There's 3 of them at this point because Malcolm can just pull them out of the ether at will.
Pull him out of the toilet.
Dick gets garroted. He doesn't get choked to death because there's blood coming out of his throat between the tongue. But did you recognize who plays the vixen, the temptress?
No.
That's Bobby Bressie, who is from Mausoleum, another HMN staple.
Oh! Motherfucker!
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yes. Yeah.
Well,
So I was
why,
like, she
though?
looks
Name-
familiar, and I
Name
looked
Bobby
up.
Bressie screams porn star to me.
She is well. Remember when we did Mausoleum? Oh man, what did they have in her IMDb? Because I was like, this is the horniest IMDb write-up ever. Buxom and beautiful blonde actress Bobby Bressie had a sadly short-lived reign as a scream queen in a handful of enjoyably trashy 80s low-budget horror pictures.
That's her IMDb bio.
That's the first pair. The first
incredible.
sentence
That's
in
the
her
first
IMDb
sentence.
bio.
Incredible.
And
And
I
it's
know
really-
we talked about this when we did Mausoleum because I was like
We did.
shocked by how ridiculous that bio was.
That's so funny. It was not my actual double feature, but it is on. I had a handful that I was writing down as I was watching, and Mausoleum was the first one that I wrote down
makes
before
sense.
she even appeared.
Yep.
I was like, because it's the green eyes.
Yep,
the
the
green
green eyes.
eyes gave it
Yeah.
like, oh man,
It's the exact
That's
same.
so funny.
Whoever did the effects in
had to have been the same.
Mausoleum would have been before this, right? Or
Yeah, yeah.
2 years before it. Yeah, I think it was 83, 85. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's, I mean, but that even the tongue attack, ironically, even though this was prior to this movie, gives me like Dream Warriors vibes. Like it's
Kinda
very
does, yeah.
similar. It's similar to that whole scene.
Had they seen
because it's also the fake
Dream Warriors
out.
yet?
It's
because
maybe.
Dream Warriors was 84.
No, Dream Warriors was 87. That's what I'm saying.
87. Sorry. I thought you said the other way
Dream
around.
Warriors
because
from
Nightmare on Elm
Ghoulies
Street
is
is
what I'm
84. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Nightmare is 84. Dream Warriors is 87. That's right. Yeah. Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
this
it's
movie
a
is
great, it's a
lot.
great tongue scene. It's there. It does not miss any beats there. You know what I mean? It's an effective tongue.
I'll put it out there. I like this tongue scene better than the one in Dream Warriors.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, that Dream
I think
Warriors
this
scene is
way
actually
more
probably my. Well, I was gonna say it's my least favorite, but it's my second least favorite kill in that movie, or scene. You know, dream sequence, because my least favorite is Welcome to Showtime, or Welcome to Primetime. Anyway, so we're almost down to everybody being taken out by Ghoulies or Malcolm or the dwarves. The two stoners get taken out by the dwarves and one of the hairy Ghoulies. Robin gets killed by a reptile Ghoulie in a clown's costume. That's the one that I was talking about. That just ran. I don't understand how they had another Ghoulie that they just only showed for 2 seconds. It was a great looking Ghoulie.
I was gonna say the scene where they're at the fountain. Like I truly thought like. Well, they just probably have one Ghoulie that they're doing a bunch of close-ups
per, right?
of.
No,
and I was
they've
like,
got multiples.
No, there's multiple Ghoulies, which like this is kind of this was the big hit for Charles Band after like producing a bunch of movies. This was like what put him on the map because this movie was made for $200,000 and brought in $35 million at the box office.
Holy
like,
fuck!
Like this,
$35 million?
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That's insane. That's insane.
I mean, and what? 5 years later, Darkman made 8.
Yeah, like insane how like. But yeah, like this is. It says at least on Wikipedia, it says the budget was anywhere between $200,000 to $400,000.
Dude,
like
I would love to make a movie this good for $200,000, $400,000.
Yeah,
holy shit!
Right? Like. In this economy,
I mean, even if we were to put that money in $2025, that's probably $800,000. That's under $1 million. This movie was made for under $1 million, $2025, and goddamn. Anyway, so
man,
so the whole point.
I mean, it does happen. It happens.
I know,
just
but it's
not
lightning in a
like
bottle.
this. It's not like this. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole point of Malcolm coming back, his whole plan with Jonathan in general was he was going to drain his life force so he could live forever. But he's stabbed in the back by Wolfgang, who just is kind of like the Chekhov's gun, you know? He just like shows up and he's like, he stabbed me in the back, motherfucker. And then they disappear, and the Jonathan and Rebecca escape with Mike, who is still alive because he just got the one stoner who looked like one of the guys from
Howling 2, the one I was referring to. Yeah.
He just got knocked on the head by the dwarves. The dwarves were actually like pally with them, like friends, like bye, you know, and they
we're gonna miss you.
Yeah, and they're just gonna watch over the mansion now, apparently. And Rebecca asks in a terse voice, "Is it really over?" And they all kind of sigh, and then you see 4 Ghoulies pop up in the back seat, and it pauses to show the credits. So that's Ghoulies, and you know what? It wasn't really over because we got 3 sequels out of it.
Yeah, we did.
And I also want to shout out the director of this movie, whose name I can't pronounce.
Don't even try. He's Italian.
Luco.
Yeah, Luco. Directed 2 other horror movie night hits. He followed this up 5 years later with Rockula, and then 5 years after that made The Granny. So
I could see The Granny. Man, you know, I'm so sad that we watched The Granny on a shitty rip instead of getting to see like a better copy of it, because I feel like it came out on Blue like 2 or 3 years after we did it. And I was like, damn, I wish I just would have waited. Because, I mean, that movie really requires a better copy to watch.
I forgot to tell you guys this, but I did get a message on our Instagram from a listener, and I would love to give them the proper crediting, but they came bringing... Or no, it was on the Geekscape. It was on the Geekscape YouTube channel. letting us know that they just announced a Blu-ray release for Fright Night Part 2. After all these years.
Really?
So that's expected this year is
HMN
a Fright
effect.
Night 2. Yep, it's
Wow.
in full effect, baby.
Okay.
Scott, if you were having a big old occult party
sir.
where you were planning to raise some ghoulies by watching Ghoulies, what would you do next?
So it's the classic situation where you inherit a house full of dark secrets. So I'm gonna follow Ghoulies with Elvira, Mistress of the Dark from 1988.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
How
Not what I
about
was expecting.
you, Kyle?
Because this movie is so short and I feel like I could just run right into something else, I'm going to pick a horror movie night classic, and I'm going to say Spookies.
Ooh,
Ghoulies, Spookies.
Yeah. It's just and also, like, I think I didn't know that there was so many Ghoulies and there's so many Spookies that it's just going to be a monster fest.
And I'm gonna do a little bit of a cheat. I'm gonna go with the movie that was suggested at the end of this on Tubi, but it all makes a lot of sense. The original Troll that came out the next year,
1986.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
fun.
Like, Charles
That's
Band
fun.
produced, released under Empire, also like technically an all-in-one location movie. I
Yeah.
know that the apartments lead to like fantastical worlds, but like it's
Not that
supposed-
fantastical, dude.
Not that
Like, no,
fantastical.
they're not that fun.
So yeah.
I've also been to Home Goods, and it's fine.
So, guys, you loving the show? Why don't you go to hmnpodcast.dasherly.com so that you can get some sweet swag. I'm rocking my Cutie Patootie shirt. Scott's rocking the Sulfur I Hardly Know Her t-shirt. Kyle not wearing anything because he hates us.
I'm
also-
nude. I'm in the nude. I only podcast in the nude. You can sign up for our Patreon to know that for sure.
Yeah, patreon.com/HMN podcast. Find us on socials. Find us pretty much everywhere. HMN podcast is where you'll find us. Kyle and I have been like getting more on top of the TikTok again and the Instagram, so there's tons of fun stuff. Just go out, support, enjoy, love it. Now, Scott, what did you watch this week, listen to, etc.?
I promised you guys last week that I would have a more upbeat, supportive, exuberant, enthusiastic review, and so I can tell you that Megan and I watched. We have spent a lot of time on the couch this last 9 days because we were watching an episode a night of Severance, season 1, and my God. It's so weird because Megan was like, "Oh, let's watch Severance," and I'm like, I don't really love TV shows, and like those are hour-long episodes. And she was like, "Well, I think it's kind of creepy," and I was like, "Okay, we'll give it a shot." Literally 5 minutes in, I was like, "This show is amazing," because it's basically like Mad Men meets Black Mirror. It's I mean that for the uninitiated, that is exactly what this show is, and it's so fucking good, and the cinematography is amazing, and. It's also so strange because people are saying, like, people are just coming out of the woodwork now that we're watching Severance. It's like TikToks all the time about Severance. So we saw somebody have like a Lumon party where people dressed up as different Lumon characters, and they had like cups and like Severance characters, and they had cups.
I mean, it's like one of the biggest shows.
But where
years.
did this come from? Where it's like everywhere now? I know season 2 is like happening now, and well, as of the recording of this, but like, it was such a background noise thing until Megan was like,
Apple
"Let's watch
TV
it," and then
stuff,
boom.
Besides Ted Lasso, in my opinion, at least as far as like a general consensus of like what's been spoken about.
Apple
like,
TV
besides-
is not good at promoting their stuff, and then they struck gold with this. But it's hilarious because Apple is the closest thing to a real life Lumen Industries.
It's so
already
true. Oh my God!
Like, so you're like watching this thing that's like questioning all that. It's so, I mean, this is like...
Dude, it's exactly like Amazon doing Fallout. It's the exact same thing. You can still enjoy the context, right?
So at the time that we're recording this, we're getting new episodes of Yellow Jackets and Severance on Fridays. And, like, nothing says is better than this. Like, on Fridays, Barb and I do whatever we can to find time to watch the new episode of Severance. Yellow Jackets, it's whenever it happens. Like, it's like eventually some point during the week. And I think part of that is like both of these shows have an element of that Lost effect where it's like there's so many questions and there's so much things that you're wondering about, and it's like a water cooler thing. I feel like Severance at least gives you just a little bit of an answer every episode to make make the mystery more enticing. Whereas Yellow Jackets did that for the first season, and now we're almost done the third season, and they have given me fuck all for a season and a half with explaining anything. So that's why I think people are clinging to Severance, is it's doing this kind of rare thing in TV where it's a mystery show that is still like giving you answers each episode, as opposed to like even like Twin Peaks was very much just like mystery reveal with like like, you know what I mean? Like this is like, no, let's give you the answers, because the answers are just going to open up more questions and mysteries the further you go along. Side note, I just need to throw this out there. I happened to stumble into the Ghoulies film series Wikipedia page that has a list of all of the different types of Ghoulies that are in each movie.
Okay, wonderful.
So the official names, according to the Wikipedia, in this movie are Fish Ghoulie, Cat Ghoulie, Rat Ghoulie, Flying Ghoulie, Clown Dog Ghoulie, and Other Fish Ghoulie. So the green
Other
Ghoulies
Fish
are
Ghoulie?
fish
How
ghoulies.
awful do you feel as a species if you're Other Fish Ghoulie? Like,
Now,
that's a bummer.
In Ghoulies 2, it introduces Toad Ghoulie and Giant Ghoulie.
Oh, yes.
Is Toad Ghoulie any relation to Toad Boy?
Is that what happens to you after you?
Well,
is that what happens?
Is this a phantasm type thing where you get turned into the monsters?
And equally hilarious, part 4, none of those Ghoulies, just Light Ghoulie and Dark Ghoulie.
Lame.
Questionable. And I just want to read this one sentence description of the movie because, dear Lord, in the final installment, through archival footage of the first movie and 976 Evil Part 2, Jonathan Graves returns, this time as a retired occultist turned police officer. His latest assignment finds him battling his former girlfriend, Alexandria, who escaped from an asylum and is trying to summon forth demonic forces, that Graves trifled with in the first film.
What?
So he's
Have
a
you
good
heard
guy
of
in the
Synergy?
Instead of puppet
976
Ghoulies in
Evil
all the
2?
previous movies, this one features little actors in costumes.
What the fuck does 976 Evil 2 have anything to do with anything?
I have no clue.
I
but
mean,
it
now
is a
we
Jim
have to
Wynorski
watch.
directed movie. So.
Never mind. We don't have to do
need the
anything.
Yeah, Scott, I'm so excited. Have you started any of season 2 yet?
No, we literally just finished season 1 last night.
What a hell of a season 1 and cliffhanger ending, though.
This is why I didn't want to watch this show, because like I don't want to be cliffhanged again.
It was a 2-year break,
right?
That I was
That's
wondering
why I'm like, maybe we should stop.
Happened. Fuck. And there was like a point where it was like, oh, they might not make more.
Yeah,
right. I mean, we've seen this happen to so many shows that just stop. You know, especially on these streaming services, like they just stop. Yeah. That makes me really. I've heard a lot about it as well. I'm eager. You know, Scott, you and Megan watching it make me excited. Matt, you and Barb watching it have made me excited too. Carly's been talking about it. Like, we've just not committed to the bit.
It's a quick, easy watch, because I think the first season's like 8 episodes.
It's 9 episodes, but they're an hour apiece, so it is not a quick, easy. It's 9 hours of your life. It's not a long fucking time.
If it's enticing enough, it's quick and easy.
And an hour is
if you're Matt Kelly, 9 hours is easy.
without commercials is a perfect amount of time, at least for us in our lives right now, to watch a thing if we're committed to it. And honestly, we can't get RuPaul's Drag Race right now. And I mean, I
vented to my friend about this. I haven't watched for like 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And it's not that RuPaul Drag Race is great, but the fact that this show refuses to have its episodes streaming anywhere the next day that doesn't involve you paying money to watch them.
Dude,
fuck the way off. Why do I have Paramount Plus if not to get RuPaul's Drag Race the day after it airs?
I'll take you one further. I have my grandmother's cable account.
Yeah.
And I log on to MTV, and I still can't watch the current season through MTV.
What the
not
hell?
live, not like, the episode's up. It is the most get off my lawn thing that MTV has ever done.
It's insanely gatekeeping.
It's
in a way that
insane to me.
They're like, we
Like,
don't
that's
want you
just
to have
insane.
fun and enjoy this television.
But I'm just like,
No.
how do you run a show that is so impossible to like? Eventually, people are just going to get sick of paying the money.
You're
for it.
You're fucking your entire audience.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I asked my one friend, and she was like, "I bought it, but I wouldn't recommend that you buy it." She's like, "It's not a good season
Yeah.
anyway." Like, it's like I'm not paying
No, I
$30
know-
for a lukewarm mid-ass season of RuPaul's Drag
No.
Race. That's the
In this
shit where it's
economy,
like-
In this
yeah,
economy,
well, especially
no.
because listen, I watch my reality TV when I'm fucking editing or doing something else.
yeah.
I'm not spending money for background noise.
No.
No.
You can buy a sound machine for that.
100%. Anyway, I have something that I want to talk about, and I'm going to
Please.
talk about real quick because my buddy over there, Kyle's got a podcast about the Phantom of the Opera, and I've been listening to a podcast about a different musical that I have fucking loved. It's a 10-part series called Out for Blood, and it's about the history of Carrie the musical.
Oh,
my.
fuck yeah.
They
Wow.
sit down with the original writers. They sit down with people who did like off-Broadway and revival performances. There's the episode I just finished listening to. There's like a 15-minute segment talking to the creator of Riverdale about like why they did a Carrie the musical episode of Riverdale. Like, and it's fascinating. It's funny and it's weird and it's really interesting. But I have to share this one story that's in the second episode, and it sums up everything that went wrong with that musical in 1988. Is that they did this really weird thing where, you know, when they're doing a musical, they do like an off-Broadway show, or they'll do like a workshop show or something before they take it to Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to do the workshop show in London, and they wanted it to be a half London cast, half American cast, which like someone calls out, they're like, already you're fucking your budget because no matter where you're at, you're having to pay for half of your cast's lodging,
You're
right? Like, so you're already screwed in that sense. But the director from London voiced to the producers that he was like, we don't have high schools here. We have university. Like, am I the right person to direct what an American high school is supposed to be? And they said, it's super easy. Just think Greece. And he said, okay.
Oh my God.
And then they come back and he has everyone dressed in togas with giant coliseums in the middle of the stage because he didn't know that they meant the musical Greece.
Wow.
And he was like, you know, the themes in this play really tackle the same as Greek mythology. So that must be what they mean. Is to go in that direction. Like,
That's the most. It feels like the most cocaine-fueled mistake that could have happened, but I don't know if that's the case.
It's truly fascinating. I also was on a part of this is because I was on a podcast called the Miscellaneous Film Festival, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Where they had me watch 5 musicals, and then we discussed like likes and dislikes as far as like costuming, casting, songs. So the musicals I had to watch were Rogers the Musical, which is the Disney World Steve Rogers stage show. The very short-lived and insane Creature from the Black Lagoon, the musical, which ends with a 25-foot Creature from the Black Lagoon prop that comes out and eats somebody.
I was trying to find the video of that.
I'll send that to you.
Link. Thank you.
I'll send you that link. This one, Carrie the Musical, 9 to 5 the musical, and also just a gentle recommend on this one too was it was called Twist It, the Story of the Royal Vizier. And it is a this company called Star Kid. They did the Harry Potter musical like in 2005 that was like very popular. They kickstart musicals. They kickstart original musicals, take that budget, do a very short 2-week run, film all of it, and then put heavily edited together versions of their musicals up on YouTube for free for anybody to enjoy. And Twist It is a retelling of Aladdin through the lens of Wicked, where it's trying to depict Jafar as the sympathetic hero and Aladdin is the villain. And it like pulls from all these different Disney elements. So like the opening song is a parody of the opening of Beauty and the Beast, where it's showing how much everyone hates Jafar, and he's just trying to make everything better, but they keep walking by, but instead of saying bonjour, they just say fuck you.
What?
So it's just like fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Like,
That sounds
and it is
awful.
Scott, when I tell you that it was so funny and charming and weird, like,
But
he
like
does this whole
intentionally
song.
funny or unintentionally funny?
Oh,
This sounds
yeah.
awful.
Oh, this was very strongly tongue-in-cheek. It was
Okay.
like people from like the Michigan theater department wrote this. But like
Okay.
they do this whole fuck you song, and then Jafar's like captain of the guards come in, and this is how they depict how Aladdin's the villain. And he's like, "You're covered in shit. What happened?" And he's like, "Me and a few of the men fell into a manure truck chasing a man who stole a loaf of bread." Oh my God. He's like, "So many died in his in his escapade." And he's like, "How?" He's like, "Well, a monkey ripped a knife out of the sword swallower's throat, which split him down the center." He goes, "One of our guards fell onto the man who sleeps on the bed of nails." Like, they're just describing literal scenes from the cartoon.
Yeah, but that
He's like,
that they're actually
he's like,
deadly.
and he got away. Yeah, he goes, and he got away with that loaf of bread anyway. And then one of the soldiers walks out. He's like, "I thought you were dead," and he's dying. And he's like, "Did we get the loaf of bread?" He goes, "Yes, we did." He goes, "Praise Allah," as he dies. Like, it's just.
That's pretty
it's
good.
so over the top. Like, I told Barb afterwards, I'm like, I want to just like invite friends over on a night where we don't have the kids, make popcorn, order a pizza, and just like enjoy it, because it feels like such a crowd pleasing watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I enjoyed it by myself on the couch, which is weird to watch like community theater on the couch and be like laughing out loud and enjoying myself.
Yeah.
All right, so that was like a double header, just a bunch of musical stuff. Check out the Miscellaneous Film Festival podcast and check out Out for Blood, the Carrie podcast. And now to you, Kyle, to take us
I
home.
watched, I mean, this has been out for a little while now, but I watched that second season of Horror's Greatest on Shudder. You know, when we were referencing what we were talking about earlier, when Carly and I just kind of have like an hour to watch a thing, and sometimes we don't have we have an hour, but we don't have like an hour of attention. You know what I mean? Like we don't have a lot of energy to give sometimes, so we put on Horror's Greatest because it is a little bit of a clip show. It's a little bit of a a documentary. And season 2, and I think I talked about the show before where I felt it was a little clunky. Like I felt like some of it was just like off. So just I'm gonna run down season 2. It's 5 episodes. Animal Attacks, Killer Dates, which is like relationship and stuff. Hidden Gems, so vague. Film Scores, and Space Horror. And I'm just going to pinpoint Space Horror for a moment. It's the last episode of season 2, and it kind of makes sense at this point in time. The producer is one of the talking heads that is interviewed the producer of the whole series, Horror's Greatest, is the person who is probably interviewed the most. And it feels like space horror was his thing, and he built this whole series to be
Just
able
to
to
talk
at
about
least
it?
have an hour-long show where he is able to talk about space horror.
Wow.
And I appreciate, part of me is like, thank you. I'm not a big space horror guy. There's a few recommendations and a few spotlights that helps. Season 2 also dives into a couple other things. Animal Attack movies are always fun. Like Hidden Gems is such a grab bag. But at the same time, I'm just like, this is such an uneven series of Horror's Greatest. It's such an objective, just thinking about the title, it's such an objective thing, and I appreciate they're trying to be a lens to look through. I think that what the world needs now is curation and somebody to be like, these are the things to look at. I think that curation helps. I don't know if this show on Shudder, the horror network, is the curation that we're talking about, but it's all of it is worth watching. I just think that I'm seeing it through a lens that's it just feels a little clunky, and I think probably a lot of our listeners might feel the same. We're all horror fans, and we're all different variations of horror fans, but we are all horror fans. So there's going to be a lot of movies that One of them is film scores, and it's like, okay, yes, Psycho and Jaws have the best film scores, and we know this. It's fun to break it down. Mick Garris but all of it is fun to watch, and it's not a waste of time by any means. It's just such a clunky show. I do want to give one more thing that I tried, and I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Greg, who is actually local to me, and we met up for a couple of beers. We talked horror. We had a great time, but he also had a bottle of Malort, and I just want to say that I was able to try Malort, off-site with a listener, and it just made one of the beautiful things about this show, other than the primary reason I said yes to joining this so many years ago, was because I got to talk horror with some buddies, and I did not know that was going to expand beyond that, really, honestly. I don't know how these things work. I didn't know I was gonna.
Eli's at my house like at least once a month,
right? And I didn't know that I was going to, but I didn't know that I was going to have a version of that. And,
have your own Eli.
A version of Eli.
There's only one Eli, sir.
I do not have a. God bless Greg. You are not an Eli, and you don't want to be. I'm just kidding. I love Eli.
I never have a problem doing this bit because I know Eli is laughing.
He's so happy. He's so happy. And Greg, I just want to thank you on mic for the Malort that we got to try together. It was quite a joy. And I don't have to do it ever again. So
wait, does it taste as bad as everybody says it?
So
is?
it's crazy to me. So
people are just wimpy.
Well, I don't think it tastes good, and I would imagine if you're trying to drink alcohol for something to taste good, then that sucks. That totally sucks. To me, I generally like a bitter liqueur or a bitter cocktail, and it was not overly offensive. It was very singular. It was like a singular flavor, but it was not overly offensive, and I would probably not drink it again.
Sure.
Unless it was part of a thing. And the occasion doesn't have to be huge to me. It could be somebody buying me a shot of Malort. I wouldn't say no. But I'm not seeking it out myself. So
fair.
But Greg, thank you. He had gotten it because he had done another podcast, which the name escapes me now, but he had brought it on like a podcast to talk about like the top 5 like strangest liquors that or alcohol that you've had, and he had it available to him. So he still has it as far as I know.
That's the thing that you bring to parties. You bring to other people. You don't enjoy alone.
Yeah. No, and we got to enjoy it together, which I appreciated.
Love that. And I love Ghoulies now. So
me too.
Stay tuned.
Now you love Ghoulies. This was the
Stay tuned next week for more things that we love.
We're making an ad.
Napping ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week. Yep. Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast, brought to you by Geekscape. Real life, real drama, real time. I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.